Live, so happy to be here. My name is Angela Petrilli, doing a new episode of the Riff Rundown today with the awesome folks at Fishman. Again, so happy to be here and back live with all of you today. So today's lesson, we're gonna be going over Me and Bobby McGee, written by Kris Kristofferson. We all know Janis's awesome version, so we're gonna be learning how to play this one today. Have your acoustic guitar ready. Have it in standard tuning. All right, we're gonna be doing key changes. Don't worry. For my beginners, don't worry. The chords, you're gonna know them. So don't worry about it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So before we get started, you guys know the drill. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Tom, I see you already messaged in. I love it. So folks, let me know where you are tuning in from. And how about your favorite road trip song? So where you're tuning in from and your favorite road trip song. So I know this is one of my favorite road trip songs. So here we go. Here is Me and Bobby McGee. That's what we're gonna be learning today. It's a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So good key change. Nothing wrong with good key change in a modulation. So folks, This is gonna be a really, really fun one today. Have your acoustic guitars in standard tuning. If you only have an electric, it's okay. But this song really, really sings with an acoustic guitar. So we're gonna be going over all the good stuff today. I'm seeing folks tuning in. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to some of the folks who are here live. Thank you all so much. We got Tyler, Texas in the house. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's see where else. We got Michigan. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We got Illinois. All right, we got some Midwest folks here. We got Israel. Thank you. Jersey Shore, Pacific Northwest. We got Florida. Good stuff. We got Nashville. Wonderful. Thank you all. And Italy. I love it. Thank you all for tuning in, folks. And again, this is not only is it a live lesson, right? I teach you guys how to play my favorite songs in an hour here on YouTube and on Facebook and all of that good stuff. This is also a live Q&A, so if you guys have questions during the lesson, we are gonna have moments where you can go ahead and tune in. So let's go ahead and talk about the tune. So what we have here, we're gonna start in the key of G. At the end of the song, we're gonna modulate to the key of A. We're gonna first be in the key of G here. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play our G chord like this. Get your third finger and your fourth finger, okay? Your third finger, place that on the third fret, the E string. That's our G note, okay? This is our root. It's gonna be a really important note throughout strumming this chord, and we're gonna go ahead and do the next chord that follows this, okay? So this is gonna be an important spot. Make sure you've got a really good grip on this. Your pinky is gonna go on the G here too, right? So that's gonna be the third fret of the E string. So we've got a G and a G. Now, there are many different ways to play a G chord. A lot of times I'll teach it like this, I'll teach it like this, and I'll teach it like today, right? Now, they all look different. I'm using different fingers to play these chords, but why are they all G? Well, it all depends. Again, this is gonna be a little bit of theory here because you know I like to throw that in too with these lessons. G, B, and D, right? The 1, 3, 5. Those are the three notes that we put together to make a G chord. So if we look at all of those different variations of that G chord, whether it is this, whether it is this, or whether it is the one we are doing today, they all have those three notes, okay? They all have that G, B, and D. That's a common question I get a lot, so I always like to bring that up whenever we're talking about this G chord here. Okay, so just wanted to answer that. So we're gonna play our G chord this way. Now you'll notice my first finger and my second finger are free. That is because we're gonna be going ahead and playing this chord next. Beautiful chord, one that I have played many a times here on the Riff Rundown. This is called a C over G. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, so we've got that G chord, right? Third finger and fourth finger, that's all you're gonna do. Okay, now to play this C over G, what you're gonna do here, that first finger and second finger, we're gonna put them to work. So you're gonna get that first finger, you're gonna place that on the first fret, the B string, that note is C, okay? Now, you're gonna reach up with your second finger, second fret, that D string there, that is E, all right? So when we play this, keeping the third and fourth finger where they are, strum everything. And then release that second and first finger. So just like that, so. All right, so those are the two chords that we're going back and forth with in that intro. So if I play just that intro, notice how it's just those two chords. I'm getting a really good question here, and you guys beat me to the punch. This is the next thing I was gonna say. The answer is yes. This third finger, notice when I do this, I play the G note nice and crisp, that's what we want, but notice the A string. We're muting it with this part of the finger, okay? That's supposed to do that, that's by design. We don't want that A note here. Remember, it's not part of that 1, 3, 5, so we don't want it. So it's gonna block, that's okay. That third finger is gonna block that A string. Totally, totally cool. Don't worry about it, okay? We're supposed to do that, it's all right. So let's go ahead and talk about this strumming a little bit here. So I'm gonna play the intro to speed, and then we're gonna go ahead and break it down like we always do, all right? So here we go. So we're hammering on with that first finger and second finger when we're going from the G chord to that C over G. Okay, so that's a good hammer on. So this is a really, really good exercise. Even if, you know, say we're not even playing the song, this is a really good exercise to build up and warm up those fingers and that hand, right? Okay, so this is a really, really good exercise. What I would suggest is don't have your first and second finger all the way out here because it's going to take you that much longer to hammer onto the B string and that D string, okay? So try and hover as close as you can to that fretboard when you're going to that C over G. All right, so again, just little tips here to help you guys be incredibly successful in your playing. That's all that I wish for all of you watching today. So what we're gonna do here is when we strum, we're gonna hit the G first, okay? The G that's located on the 3rd fret of the larger E string. Okay? Just like that. So hit the root, chord. Hit the root, chord. This is something that we're gonna do quite a bit in this song, all right? So. I'm gonna do that a couple times nice and slow here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that one more time. One more time for good luck, why not? All right, so that's what we're looking for there when we're going and we're playing that intro. Now, as we get into the verse, right, we're gonna play that G chord, just as we did here with the 3rd and 4th finger, so that busted flat and Baton Rouge, right? So we're just gonna go and strum that. Now, with this song here, I really, really encourage you guys, I'm sure most of you are watching know this song, really go and listen to this. Like really see how the dynamics of this acoustic guitar really changes in this song as the story builds, right? And as the song continues to go on. Really, really listen here. As far as advice that I can give you as far as the strumming goes, I mention this all the time in these lessons. Having a very loose but affirmative right hand, or strumming hand, because I know there's some lefties out there. So those of us, right, when we're strumming, we want a really nice, light but affirmative strumming hand. So notice how I strum from the elbow. I feel like it really allows the sustain of the guitar to really, really ring through. Okay, because if we just do like just strumming from the wrist, I feel like it can sound okay. But I feel like if we want like really, really big, good, round sounding acoustic guitars, right? I like to strum from the elbow, so. Notice how the power is coming from that elbow, right? That's where the bend is happening. Then into our verse, just the G. And notice, I keep hitting that root. Right, nice broad strokes here. So just keep that in mind, just things to think about when we're strumming here. This, again, acoustic guitar is a very percussive instrument, right? It's a hollow piece of wood, so it wants to ring out. So think about that when you're strumming, okay? That's what the guitar wants to do, okay? So let it do that. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, so now the next chord, we have that G chord, and we're sitting there for a while. Baton Rouge, waiting on a train. right? We're sitting there for a while. Then we go to a D7, okay? So I'm gonna show you quickly how to play this. We're gonna be using our first 3 fingers here, okay? So your first finger, we're gonna place it on C, first fret of the B string. That's where C lives when we're in standard tuning, which we happen to be in today. So now what we're gonna do here is your second finger, place that on the 2nd fret of the G string. That's your A note. Third finger, okay? It's gonna go all the way here, 2nd fret of the E string, that is F sharp. Now, if we're thinking about the notes that make up a 7th chord, again, going into a little bit of theory here, just so you guys can understand this, the 7th chord, okay, the 1, 3, 5, it's what we need to make that major chord, but a 7th chord, it's 1, 3, 5, then we add a flat 7 into it, which is really, really great. So that flat 7, in terms of this D7, where is it and what note is it? It's C. That is the flat 7, okay? So the notes that make up this D7 chord are gonna be D, F sharp, A, and C. Now, when we strum this chord, okay, we really don't want that E string in there. Why? Because if we go back and we look at the 4 notes that make up this D7 chord, it's not in there. So if we have that E in there, it sounds really messy and thuddy. That we don't want. So, as I'm sure you guys have noticed, and I do this quite often, sometimes I will go ahead and put my thumb over, okay, again, to mute. Now, here's the thing I also want to mention. Well, Angela, do I have to mute the A string too? Here's the thing. A is in the chord, right? We have that A, it's the 5th of D. So if you happen to, by mistake, catch that open A string when you strum this, it's okay, because the A is in the chord anyway, all right? We would technically call it a D7 over A. But if you happen to hit it, it's not gonna be the end of the world, is what I'm trying to say, all right? So it's totally cool. So let's go ahead and go intro into these first 2 chords of the verse. We're gonna do that, and then we'll add one other little thing here. It's gonna be great. So here we go, nice and slow, intro, verse. And I'm playing this a little slower. Now our verse here, hang on that G chord. Here comes our D7. Okay, so notice what I did there. I hit that open D string. As I was playing that chord. So if that is a little too advanced for some of you, totally cool, no problem. Just strum the chord. If you want a little bit of, you know, something cool to do, really accentuate that bass note, I encourage you to do it. It's kind of awesome. Okay, stuff to think about. Again, I plant the seeds here. It's all up to you guys and, you know, here thinking, you know, and playing what sounds good to you, okay? So, that's that D7 now. We hang on that D7 for a while. And then on our way to New Orleans, then we go back to that G. Then to the C over G, back to that G. All right, again, very easy chords here. I'm gonna go through it again nice and slowly. Here we go. From the intro, again, I'm gonna do it slow. Verse. D7. Back to G, C over G. Okay, so So now what happens next in the verse, we're gonna hang on that G a little longer. So that went outside while Bobby sang the blues. Okay, so those two chords here, we're at G. All right, now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to a G7. So keep your third finger where it is on the G, third fret of that E string. Get your second finger, that's gonna go on B, second fret of the A string. First finger goes all the way down to F. Guess what? There's your flat 7 that makes this a 7th chord. Bam, there it is, F. Okay, think of this for my beginners, my intermediates, my advanced, all of you watching. Think of it as like an extended or like stretched out C chord, okay? Which happens to be the next chord that's in this song, right? So we have our G7 here. Have a look at this switch. First finger goes up 1 string, third and second finger go down a string. And notice how we are at C now. Pretty cool, right? So G7 to C. All right, not too bad, all right? I will talk through C. Those of you who don't know how to play a C chord, real quick. First finger, first fret of the B string, that is your C. Your second finger, placing that on the second fret of the D string, that is E. E is an elephant, and then your third finger reaching up to play C, third fret A string. Okay, so that's what's happening there. So let me go through this real quickly again. So we have, let's start at the top of the verse. You got your G chord. So I busted flag in Baton Rouge, waiting on the train, and da-da to D7. All to Diesel Town, just before the rain. So we're hanging on that D7 for a while. Now back to G. Hang on G a little longer. Now here comes that G7 to C. After this, 2 more chords, G and D7. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Again, very, very simple chords, but I want to be thorough with this stuff. Now, if we're thinking, okay, the C chord, it's easy. Again, you know how I like to give you guys options. Let's consider this a level 2. Go ahead, and when you hit that C chord, lift up your second finger. When we do this, this C chord now becomes a C sus2 because we have that D string, or that D note there, right? And then we hammer back on with that second finger, making it a C again. It's a really, really beautiful chord. So I'll show you, just to give you context, I'll go to that G7 here. Isn't that really pretty? It just resolves very nicely. I think melodically it sounds great. So again, if you want a bit more of an added option, do that suspended. It's really, really beautiful. It's stuff that I do all the time. Anytime it makes sense to put a suspended chord, I will do it. So that's what's happening there. We go back to our G, to your D7. Now, once we get there, that's the first verse, done. Okay, so now we go, I guess, to like this chorus part. So this chorus part, so that the part that goes like this, so freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That part, that's what we're gonna be going over now. So the chords that are happening here, right? We're gonna have a C chord, we're gonna have a G chord, we're gonna have D7, we're gonna have G, a G7, a C, back to G, and back to D7. Now, as always, I will give a level 2 option towards the end of it when I play it live, and I totally want to dedicate this lesson today to 2 dear friends of mine, so Jenny and Kit. This one's for you today. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful singers and beautiful people. So this one's definitely thinking about those 2 ladies today for this tune. So I'll give you guys options on how, when I play it live, what I like to do before the key change. It's good stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about the chorus. So we go right into that C chord. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and use that C sus2, that's something that I would do. I would totally love that. That's something I like to do. If you want to do it, great. So how we would do this, start with the C sus2 up top. So when you go freedom's just another word, really, really blends in nicely. So starting with that C sus2 into that C. Back to our G. Then to our D7. Okay, and again, nice light strumming here, folks. That is the key to this song. Affirmative, strong, good of full intention, but again, nice and light, as I always say. Let the pick do the work for you here, okay? So let's go ahead and go through those chords. I will call them out quickly here. So that's C sus2 into C. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. D7. Back to G. This is an optional thing. This is something that I really like to do when I'm playing this song. I really like using that G7 going into that second pass, right, when we go to the C. So the G7 is optional. I think it kind of sounds cool, so when I play it live, I throw it in. So let's go ahead. Go through that again nice and slowly. C with the sus2, G, D7, G, optional G7, back to C, back to G, D7. So that feeling good is good enough for me. That's that part right there. So good enough for me and my Bobby McGee. So that's what's happening there, okay? So let's go ahead, do this nice and slowly again. I'll give you option 2 for what I like to do over that D7 chord. So here we go from the top. We'll run through it twice so you guys get the chords under your fingers, all right? And again, folks, if you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Would love it if you did. Good stuff, a lot of fun. All right, so here we go. This is the chorus. On that D7 for a while. Back to G. Okay, let's do that one more time from the top of the chorus. After this part, we go to that key change, modulation, up to A major. So let's go ahead and talk about this, level 2. Notice how we were on that D7 for a while. Feeling good is good enough for me, right? Good enough for me, my Bobby. So we're in the D chord or D7 for a while. So I know with me, sometimes when I'm playing live, sometimes I can get a little bored if I'm on one chord a little too long. I'm being honest, sometimes it happens. So what I like to do is this. So let's think of this as a level 2. I do a little double stop line there. So it sounds like this. Because again, this is a very cool, like country kind of tune. So I like throwing in those little riffs. So let's talk about that, how to do this. Again, my beginners, if that is too much for you, no problem. Stick on the D7 chord. No one's gonna judge you. It's great. So those of you, again, I encourage you, if you wanna step out of your comfort zone a little bit and give this a try, it is a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna be using our first and second finger for the beginning of this little double stop riff in D, okay? So what we're gonna do here, you're gonna get your second finger, put it on the 3rd fret of that D string, okay? That's your F. We're gonna slide it up to F sharp, which would be on the 4th fret, okay? So then you're gonna get your first finger, placing that on D, 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, let's do that again nice and slowly. Now if you'll notice here, I want you to alternate pick. If you're comfortable doing hybrid picking, great. But definitely, so that's alternate picking, see? So I'm using the pick on both the D string and the B string. Or if you're like me, I usually lean a little bit more towards the hybrid picking stuff. Those of you who watch my norms videos, I'm sure you can see I do hybrid picking quite a bit. I would pluck the B string with my middle finger upward. So it's an upward kind of pluck or tug on that B string. So that's the hybrid picking part. Or if you want to do alternate picking, just use the pick on both. Okay, so options. Again, I like to give you guys options. So there we go. So that's sliding into that double stop there of D. So you have your F sharp and D. Now what we're gonna do here, 4th fret, right? Since we're at that F sharp, we're gonna slide to G, 5th fret of that D string. Get your 3rd finger, 5th fret of the B string, that's your E note, okay? So let's do that nice and slow. Okay, pretty cool little line, right? That's why I like to play it. It's a lot of fun. Now what we're gonna do here, so right, both fingers are on the 5th fret of the D string and the B string respectively, okay? Now what we're gonna do here, pluck that G note again, 5th fret of that D string, slide it up to A, 7th fret of that D string, 3rd finger is playing the F sharp 7th fret of the B string. Okay, so those are all your notes and all your finger positions. You guys know what to do. So I'm gonna do this nice and slowly here a couple times. Okay, and I'm doing hybrid picking. If you wanna do alternate picking, totally cool. Okay. Go ahead and do that again. One more time. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now, let me put it into context. I'll play the last couple chords so you can see how it fits in. So let's go to that G7 because that's such a fun chord to play. It's quick, okay? So that's to speed, it's quick. Let's do that again. Now, when I'm there, I like to stick there because those two notes that I have there, right? It's F sharp and it's A. Guess what? That's the 3rd and the 5th of the D chord. So, and it's also the 3rd and the 5th of that D7 chord. So you can actually kind of stay there. It's a little bit of a kind of a muted strum thing. I don't want to, bad, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. I like to do that. Just kind of strum it a little bit. And then get to my G chord. I'll show you what I mean. I'll put it in context. Here we go. Again, folks, if you're having a great time, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel It helps the cause, folks. It helps the cause. Check out Fishman too. They got some great stuff. I'm just so thankful to them. They help me out and do these every week. It has been such a blast. So I will leave a link in the description too, so you can check out like all the gear that I use and stuff. I'll put a link there for you guys so you can check it out. All right, so here we go. In context, I'll play it a little bit faster so you guys can hear that. See what I mean? Don't be too aggressive when you're playing that, okay? Nice light touch there. So we go to that G, okay? So now we are going into the key change. We are modulating up to A. So we are going a whole step up from where we were at the top of the song. So every G chord is an A chord, right? Every C chord is a D chord. It's fine. Don't worry, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, the modulation part, once we get there, it's a blast. Okay, so the modulation part sounds like this. So think of this, so this is, I guess, verse 2, okay? So it would sound like this coming from, let's do it from the double stop. Now modulation. Verse, the next verse. There's a lot I like to do. So there's a lot going on here. Now, if we want to stick to level 1, okay, A chord, just play that. Here's how I like to play my A chord using my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger, okay? 2nd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the D string, that's your E. Your 2nd finger goes 2nd fret of the G string, that's your A note. Pinky finger, 4th finger, C sharp, 2nd fret, that B string. You're gonna strum everything except this big E string, but if you hit it, it's okay because it's in the chord too. But try not to. Okay, so what we can do here, again, for my beginners, you wanna stick there and just play that A chord, so when you're playing it, so the part from the Kentucky coal mines to the California sun, right? That's where the A chord lives. You want to just stick there, fine. Someone like me, sometimes I get a little too bored just playing the one chord. So I like to use my suspensions because it gives it some nice movement. Again, option 2, giving you guys options. Sometimes I'll do an A sus in there, okay? Lifting the pinky up, you're engaging the B string. There is your sus2, right? Similarly to what we did with the C and the C sus2 a couple moments ago, okay? So I'll lift that pinky finger, A sus2. Sometimes I'll even play an A sus4. How do we do that from here? Get this 3rd finger, right? It's on the C sharp, 2nd fret of the B string, but what we can do here, move it on over to D, 3rd fret of that B string, right? That's what makes it a sus4 is when we include that D note. Okay, so you can interchange these. Again, this is an option thing. Do they do this in the song? I think they just stick to the A chord. But I think it's cool to kind of give it some movement with suspended chords. That's fun. So we've got here, A chord. Now, something else I do want to mention. The dynamics are changing slightly, right? We're starting to build to that big ending at the end. So notice, I would say once we start getting to this key change, start to strum a little more, I don't want to say aggressively, a little stronger, right? Dynamics are changing, we're building. So think about this again. With all these songs that I teach you guys, I always encourage you guys to listen to the song. This one in particular, really, really listen to the dynamics of the acoustic guitar because it is so fabulously done. It is so fabulously done. So give it a listen after this lesson, or even if you're, watching this later, right? You're watching the rerun, whatever we're gonna call it. listen back to the song and listen to those dynamics. It's really, really going to help you make your cover of this song very, very successful. So really, I encourage you guys to do that. So we've got A, lifting up the pinky finger, A sus2, back to A major. I play that A sus4 very quickly, going back to A, okay? I'll do that nice and slowly a couple times so you guys can get the hang of it here. Here we go. Let's do that again. One more time. A little faster. Okay, so again, interchange those. Again, listen to the dynamics, listen to the tune, see what feels right. Because again, also with all of these lessons too, I really, really want to build up your ear as well, listening to music, listening to the drums, listening to the cues of the bass, right, of the piano. There's so much going on in this song. Listen back to it. Again, just such a fun tune. Okay, so that's what's happening there. We're doing those A majors and the suspended stuff. It's great. We're gonna go to an E7 here. What are those notes? So, those of you who know how to play an E major, awesome. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Your first, second, and third finger, the fingers we're gonna use in this chord, right? First finger goes on the G sharp first fret of the G string, your second finger reaching up to the second fret of the A string, that is your B note, B as in boy. Third finger goes down second fret of the D string, that is E, okay? You're gonna strum everything. However, if you wanna play an E7, what you're gonna do is lift the third finger, take it away, we're not gonna need it, okay? When we do that, we're allowing this D string to be open. That is your flat 7. That is the fourth note that we need to make this E major chord, right? An E7 chord. So we have our E, we have our G sharp, we have our B, the 1, 3, 5, and then we add in the flat 7, which happens to be D, okay? So that's how we get there, all right? And those are the notes that we need. So again, this E7 sticks here for a while. Now, what I like to do, again, going back to those suspension chords, go ahead and play an E sus4. Here's how we would do that. Let's put it this way. It looks just like the A chord, right? But bring every finger up a string, okay? So here are the notes that are in there. We're gonna be using our second, third, and fourth finger to play this E sus4 chord. Your second finger is on the B, second fret of the A string. Third finger is on E, second fret of the D string. Pinky finger is going to be on A, okay? That is the 4. Okay, so there we go. Strum everything. Hear that? Hear that cadence? Sus4 to major, and then lifting that third finger. There's your E7. Okay? And it is an E7 chord. Okay? So that's what's happening there. So let's go ahead and play from our A. We'll do our suspensions. We'll go to that E7. We'll add the E sus4. Okay? Here we go. E7. E sus4 to E. Give it a try. Let's do that again. Change. Again, when I play it live, that's how I like to do it. If you want to just stick to the E7, it's going to sound great. Do it. Okay? So now, after that E7 chord, the optional E sus4, we're going to go to an A major. We're going to hang there a while. Okay? Now we go to an A7 from there. So what's happening here? Now, out of E's, I just lift my third finger from that A chord, okay? Could you do this? Yes, but I feel like that's a little too much moving. I'd rather, it feels a little funny and a little awkward. It's okay? Okay? Just lift that third finger. It helps with the ease of it, and that's gonna make it an A7. Why is that? We are now including the G into that A major chord, right? Or at least the triad, so the A, C sharp, and E, the three notes we need to make an A major. We're adding a G, which is the flat 7, which now makes us an A7 chord. Okay? So, that's what's happening there. Again, keep in mind the dynamics are shifting, they're starting to change. We are building momentum here, all right? So, now we go to a D chord. I think we all know how to play a D chord. I'll leave it at that. Back to A. So that feeling good is good enough for me. Back to that E7. That's what's happening there. So now we go to our second chorus as I move my chart over. There it is. So, second chorus, okay? We're still in the key change. We're gonna stay in A. Here are the chords here. So, we've got D major, A major, E7, A7, back to D, A, E7. That's what's happening in this chorus, okay? That's what's happening there. Let's talk it through. What are I'll give you guys, since we've talked about most of these chords already. Remember, D, F sharp, A, that's our D chord. A major, A, C sharp, E, E7, E, G sharp, B, D, okay, those 4 notes. And then the A7, A, C sharp, E, G. That G makes it the 7th chord. Okay, and then we go back to A, back to that E7. Now, for my level 2 folks, guess what? Just like we did the double stop in D, for this part where we're hanging on that E7 chord, guess what? Let's just do this riff up a whole step. Let's modulate it too. Okay, I'll talk you through that. So you guys who are watching, who don't want to just stick to that E7 chord, no problem. Let's go ahead and do the double stop riff. So, okay, again, I won't go into the right hand techniques. I already talked about that a few moments ago when we were playing this with D major. So, what we're gonna do here, your second finger is going to be on the 5th fret of the D string. That's G. Slide it up to G sharp, half step up. First finger hits E, okay? 5th fret of the B string. Just like that. Let's do that again. Now, second finger is at that 6th fret of the D string. Let's move it up to the 7th fret, G sharp to A. Third finger goes to the F sharp 7th fret B string, okay? Let's do that riff again, those 2 parts. Okay, one more time. Now, from here, we're at A, 7th fret of that D string. Let's slide that up a whole step. We are now playing the B note. This is going to be the 9th fret of that D string to G sharp. 9th fret, B string. Okay, so let's go ahead, do that again. Nice and slowly hear the entire riff, and then we'll build up the speed here, and then we'll give it context with some chords. Okay, so here we go. again, I'm hybrid picking this. Okay, and again, these are double stops that outline, right, that E major. Pretty cool, right? And again, when we play this to speed, it's going to be a little bit faster. So I would definitely alternate picking or hybrid picking here. Don't try to just downward pluck these strings. It's not going to sound good. It's not going to sound good. It's not going to help your playing. Okay, so again, alternate picking or hybrid picking only for this. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to play the chorus. Here we go. Nice and slow. Follow along. Okay, so here we go. Here comes that riff. Okay, let's do that again. Here's the chorus. Be really careful here when you're strumming this. We don't want to, bad. Try to keep it, again, doing your best to mute. It's a little tough, but work on it, you can do it. Stick to those two, okay? You're strumming it, that's a really important thing. So we don't want that G note in there. It's not gonna sound too good next to that G sharp, okay? So I'm going to do it a little bit faster here. Here we go. So you can again hear it in context at proper speed. So that's what we're going to work towards here. Again, it's fun. It's fun. I love a good series of double stops. Really perks things up, I think, in a song. I think it sounds really great. So that's what's happening there. Again, that's an added thing that I do when I play this live. And those of you who are musicians who play a lot know that this is one that is played all the time. And I have played this at least 1,000 times. But it's a fun one. Really, really great classic song. It's just so much fun to play, so much soul in it. It's awesome. So after we do this, okay, we go into that bridge part where she does the laws. So the la la la, da 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 da. That's what's happening there. The only two chords that we're playing during the la part, right? It's going to be A and E7. That's it, okay? So if we wanted to, say you didn't want to just play them up here, you want to play those chords somewhere else, what could be kind of cool, I've done it a time or two when I play this live, is I'll do this grip. That's E7 and A major, but I'm playing them in a different spot. If you find that you might be like, okay, going back and forth here, these chords are kind of too easy, inversions are a lot of fun, guys. So let's talk about these. So I'm doing, I guess you could say like a Hendrix style grip. I like to use my thumb a lot when I play. If this is too much to use the thumb, if you wanted to just do the A bar chord, you could totally do that too. But how I like to do it, my thumb, I reach over 5th fret of the E string, that's your A. okay? Your first finger placing that on the 5th fret of the B string, that is your E note, that is your 5th, okay? 3rd finger, you're gonna put that on the 6th fret of the G string, that is your C sharp, which is your 3rd, okay? And your 3rd finger placing that on the 7th fret of the D string, which is also A. So when you strum it, here's the thing. You can strum every single string on this, even that open A string and open E string, because guess what? That's the 1 and 5 of this chord, so it'll work. Notice how it has a really cool, like, ethereal open quality to it. Try it. Might be kind of cool if you want to just do the bar chord. Reason why I don't do the bar chord is because I love my suspensions. Guess what? When you do this shape, I can put my pinky down on the 7th fret of that G string and make it an A sus4. Hear that? Kind of cool, okay? So that is the A major to that sus, okay? So you can do that too, that's sus4. Now, going to an E7, that looks like this. And if you happen to hit this low E string, great, why not? We're playing an E7 chord, it's gonna work, okay? So what we're going to do here, open E string, your 3rd finger is gonna go on the 7th fret of the A string, that is your E. Your 2nd finger placing that on the 6th fret of the D string, okay, that is your G sharp, which is your 3rd. Your pinky finger placing that on the 7th fret of the G string, that is your D note, that is your flat 7. And your 1st finger is going to go on E, 5th fret of the B string. So if you want to give a little variation to this, you can go level 1. To that E7 like that, or do A like this. Give it a little suspension if you want. Then our E7 grip. Something I would suggest too, between these two chords, watch my 1st finger. See how I didn't move it? It's your pivot point. Think about that. Kind of cool. Again, planting the seeds here. I want you guys to be really, really successful players, so kind of a cool thing to do. Okay, if you're getting tired of playing them there, just play them somewhere else. So that's what's happening there. Now, this continues to build, right? Again, I encourage you guys, listen to this song, hear how it builds, and then really embody the energy and the soul, and just the wonderful, the song is so, so fun to play. Incorporate it, you know, and really feel that soul as you play this too, okay? So, what happens next here is we're pretty much doing this E, or this A, and this E7 for the rest of the song. So, this is the optional part. I did it at the top of the hour. Don't worry, I'll do another quick rundown of what I did at the end of this lesson. I like to do this little octave line. When it starts to get really big. Now, all I am doing here, okay, I'm doing E, D, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, and I'm hitting an E major chord. Could you hit an E7 too? You could. Either one will work. So let's talk about that. So when I am doing these octaves, again, this is something that I like to do when I play this song. It's kind of fun. So getting your 1st finger and your 4th finger, these are the two that we are going to use for these octaves. Your 2nd and 3rd finger are going to act as your mutes, okay? Because notice how I'm strumming everything here. If I didn't have those mutes, listen to how it sounds. We don't want that in this. We want to keep it nice and clean. Right, it's kind of fun. Those of you who want to look at more lessons that I've done in terms of octaves, I would absolutely check out the lesson I did on Fell on Black Days, Acoustic. I did that a while back, but I really talked about octave stuff a ton on that one, so I definitely encourage you. That was a super fun one to teach. It was fun. I'll definitely be doing more Kris Cornell lessons in the future for sure. So, first finger, placing that on the E, 7th fret A string, pinky finger goes on the 9th fret of the G string, also E, engaging the mutes. You're gonna give me a good downstroke and an upstroke, and then mute it with the heel of your hand here. Like that. Okay, so we're doing E, sliding that shape back a whole step. Now we're playing D, 5th fret of the A string, pinky finger 7th fret of the G string. Okay, so I guess I'm doing an upstroke and a downstroke there. Now going to C sharp, first finger should be on the 4th fret of the A string, that's your C sharp there. Pinky finger, 6th fret of the G string, that's your C sharp there. Okay, so let's do that again. Bringing that now back a whole step to B, your first finger, 2nd fret of the A string, pinky finger, 4th fret of the G string. Like that. So let's do that line again. One more time. One more time for good luck. Now, go to A, 5th fret of the E string, that's your A. Pinky should be on the 7th fret of the D string, that is also A. Keep these fingers, right, 2nd and 3rd finger, keep them engaged as your mutes. Bringing that back now to G sharp, okay, so 4th fret E string, pinky finger, 6th fret D string. We end that with an E major or an E7, okay? So here we go, nice and slowly, the whole line. I like putting that line in, so the when she's singing that part. Back and forth with that, right? A to E7. So that's what's happening there. That's the tune, guys. We go back and forth between that A and the E7 and big on the A chord. Okay, so what I am going to do here is I'm going to go and play through the entire thing. Okay, folks, again, if you are enjoying these lessons, I encourage you to please subscribe to the channel, Angela Petrilli Music. I will be playing. Live gigs are back, folks. I'm doing a bunch of shows. Be sure to visit my website, angelapetrillimusic.com, to see if I'm playing at a town near you. Again, be sure to give me a follow on all social medias. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, obviously, all that good stuff. So be sure to give me a follow. Again, I will be leaving a link in the video description so you guys can check out all the cool Fishman gear that I use to make these lessons happen. Again, awesome. Thanks to the folks at Fishman. So, all right, here's a quick rundown of everything we have gone over today. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Thankful and appreciate all you guys. You guys are great. So, here we go from the top. Real quick. And again, it's going to be a bridge. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but a bridge just so you guys get the idea. So here we go. what's happening there. That is a tune. Super, super fun one. Again, as always, wishing you guys much success in your playing. Appreciate all of you guys. You guys are great. Thank you for tuning in week after week. And again, if you're loving these lessons, please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps the cause. If you got friends of yours who are looking to play guitar, send them on over to the channel. Would love to have them. And again, and it's just so wonderful. We've got such a great community here, and appreciate all you guys and the good positive energy that we bring to all of this. All of my beginners, reminding you that you can be an awesome guitar player. So that's my daily reminder from me to you. You can be awesome. Practice, 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 folks. It is worth the time, I promise. I promise, I promise. So again, wishing you guys much success. You guys know the drill. I will be back here every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It's always a blast. I haven't decided what I'm going to teach next week, but be sure to subscribe to the channel because I give hints a few days before to get you guys ready. So again, thank you all so much. Tag me in your videos too if you guys are learning how to play these songs. I'd love to see how you guys are coming along with all this stuff. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Always a blast. I will see you guys next week. Take care, be well, stay safe, be kind, play a lot of music, and folks, I'll see you next week.